ASP today. Let's hop into the game, see where we left off. Load saved. So I think first we're going to bring everybody back, because now we have a bunch of different flights in space and stuff. We want to get everybody back. So we're going to start with... I also added some more mods too. So Docking Who, will bring that back. Let's bring back Solar Bat. So that's our Jebediah. He's up there. He's working on some science. Let's check. I don't think he has much more data to work with. He doesn't have a lot of data, so that would take a long time. I mean, we can speed up time a little bit. Try and get some of it. But it's not really going to be a whole lot compared to the guys that are out there. Although I think when I'm speeding up this, it's also speeding up over there. But this seems like it's not really worth it. So I'm going to actually stop this, transmit what we have, which is one science. Transmit the science. And then we're going to bring him back over into the main section here. And I believe this one is coming back with the science pack on there, is the idea. Because I think that I have the heat shield on the other part. So let's transfer crew. We're gonna bring everybody back. So this is... Oh, I see. No, it's actually up here. So we're not returning with this part. The idea is he's taking the ladders up. Because I think I can't... yeah, it's not reachable. So I've also added a mod that helps with trying to see what's connected. So it looks like we cannot... I think I'm in transfer crew mode. What's going on here? So this is the mod. Life support tank. And then that up there. Am I... Okay, I think I'm outside. I think I'm now no longer in transfer mode. Okay, so now I should have the other controls. Yeah, I do. Good. Thank you for the host, Real Zoomaster. So I think we're going to EVA. Because it looks like he can't get up there on his own. Right, okay, this is my earlier design. Right, I remember this now. So there's a ladder going up here that I should be able to take all the way up. So we're going to take it slow just in case. I'm going to zoom in because it's probably dark. You can't really see what's going on. I guess I could have waited till it was... You gonna work here? Good, okay. Got nervous there. Alright, so we want to be able to just go up enough until we can board. Okay, be board. Okay, so now he's inside the thing. We're all good. Now what we want to do... Yeah, gain dangerous spacewalk. Although I kind of remember a little bit about spacewalks, so I might be able to survive it anyway. But, okay, now... we just want to get rid of all that other stuff. Wait. We're not going to get rid of all the other stuff just yet. We're going to point. We want to get back into the planet. So let's not quite get rid of our engines yet. Your space is your thing. Awesome. Cool. Well, this is KSP, and we're playing with a bunch of different mods. So this is going to get us into a pretty good orbit, or a whatchamacallit, heading into the planet, air braking, or whatever it's called. Oh, that's too much. Okay, that's probably good. So what we want to do... oh, I also added in more accurate burn readouts or whatever. So I don't know what this bottom thing is at all. I'm hoping it's not going to completely mess everything up that I'm working on. But supposedly this is supposed to give me more accurate readouts. So this is going to be a pretty quick burn. And then this is the thing. Whatever this is down here. This is part of the mod. So this is... because right now this usually just say NA at this point, because we haven't used the engines yet since this playthrough. And so it doesn't really know like how long the burn's supposed to be. But that should be plenty enough burn. Let's go to here. We have this engine and it has quite a bit of fuel, so we should be fine. Let's warp to next maneuver. So it'll be a minute out And I'll be curious to see if this thing does like the pre thing or whatever. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay, so this, I noticed a couple of these lines went away. So once we get to about 10 or 11, where I'd usually burn, let's see what those little symbols at the bottom do. But we're basically gonna go, and we don't have to do the exact maneuver exactly, as long as when this thing comes down, this is around like 200,000 is our goal. So I don't know if this indicator is when it's aiming for 0 or what. Or it's actually telling me when I should start burning. Interesting. Or no. Yeah, it is. It's a countdown for when I should start burning. Interesting. Okay. Alright, so we're watching this. We want to make sure that we don't go too far. Okay. Perfect. So we're a little bit lower than I think the maneuver, but that's okay. Now, we want to... So we're pointing... which way are we pointing? We don't want to run into the engines and stuff. So that slowed us down. So we want to point prograde. If we can. And then we're going to want to get rid of everything, all the things. So we're trying to ditch those things behind us. Although I guess I've had problems with that too before. So we might ditch them this way. So they're in a little bit of a different spot. So let's get rid of them. Okay. Let's take a look. Yeah, so I think we're still good. We're still going to be re-entering. Hopefully that stuff is far enough away from us. There won't be a problem. Let's go ahead and close this. Close doors. Let's review data. So I do have some data inside of there? Yeah, I guess I do. Okay. That's fine. We're going to keep it. Now we want to point retrograde. And I also have a mod with parachutes that should make time unspeed up. So, oh well, and this is interesting. So then also this is telling me re-entry in 13 minutes. So there's even more coolness with this mod. Like, it's not cheating, it's just being more informational. So what we want to do is we want to... there's already a thing where it's going to like slow down time once I'm re-entering. And then it's going to switch to retrograde pretty quick. And when it does it. So retrograde, and then we can get rid of this. And so the parachute thing, I think that it's set up so that it'll slow down time. It'll stop warping time when it's about to like land. I think we'll see. I don't know if I'll test it necessarily with a dude, but in theory. So there's, I guess, the rest of our stuff. It's successfully gone. It's away from us. So we're re-entering, I think, at this point, right? So we're going to get Bob back. We want to go check in with the guys that are over... well, I guess we'll check in first with the docking guys and get them back. So this, I guess this episode will be a lot of getting people back to the planet. I also have more accurate heat readouts, I think, in one of these mods. I don't know which one that would be, I guess. So as things heat up, it would tell me what's heating up, but I guess I don't see that anywhere, so I don't know. Cruising in. We're gonna work on landing somewhere. I mean, we don't know yet. Hello, John Fell. Welcome. Oh, actually, that reminds me. I should. Oh, right. I was gonna retweet your thing. So we're heading in. We're gonna get everybody back, and then we can start working on making some like docking super complexes with like power plants and like, you know, gardens and apartments and stuff, and then have them all connected together in this gigantic thing. And then we can take that whole thing and then move it over to the moon, I guess. I don't really know. We'll see what options I have. But potentially I might be able to have like a gigantic super complex with like tunnels that are all connecting all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I hope the move goes well. Go ahead. Oh, it's wet. Right. Oh, that's weird. It's like only on one side. Hello there, Puka. Welcome. Yeah, and if you noticed, I set up a second bot. Juju Bunzing, you probably have noticed because there's no chats right now on the Twitch side, but there's now a basket chat bot that Restream is using for my mixer connection. Docked at a temp location. Yeah. Sweet. A second, yes. Second bot. So we're just working on landing first with this guy. Recover the vessel. We'll switch to one of the docking ones that actually has people in it. Have that one land. Looks like we can deploy, but I'll wait a second. What's this? Oh, this is the abort group. Yeah. I forget who's telling me about that. Okay, well, let's go ahead and it might have been Spectre, I guess. Let's go and deploy parachutes. So then we should be able to speed up, is my understanding. And I don't know, I have a mod, I think, that slows down the parachutes, or at least makes them like... So the time might slow down right before it touches down, maybe. We'll see. So they deploy there anyway. So we slow down. Yeah, so it actually, when this parachute's deployed, it actually dropped my speed up time. So I think that means I can probably speed up this last part too. We'll kind of watch it. Although I guess we're going slow anyway, even if the parachutes do rip apart. So he was up there for a decent amount of time, working on, I guess, yeah, working on science. So we'll see. Does it slow down time? Are you gonna do it? All right, let's do that just for the test. We'll go one extra speed. I want to see if it does slow down time or not before it touches us down. Yeah, it did. Okay. Yeah. All right. I think we've already done all the science. Recover the vessel. So we got. I mean, we transmitted most of our science, so we don't have a lot of science at this particular recovery. Okay, next we have I don't remember which one has people in it. Potentially this one. It's interesting. So this one, this one's time has reset because when it disconnected, it has changed. So, does this one have any people? No, it does not. Okay, we actually don't care about. So this is. So this one has no people. Does it actually have a robot? I think so. Let's aim this guy. Wait, I don't have any controls. Oh, I do. There we go. Let's aim this guy. Retrograde. We're just gonna get rid of it. If I go retrograde, that will slow me down, right? Yeah. Right. So we just want to get this guy to fall. So we're gonna burn. Okay, so that will get rid of itself. Great. Good job. Now what we want to do, can we actually see it from here? Probably not. Oh, maybe. So the docking who, no, can't change. Okay, so docking who 4 is where we want to check out. Docking who 4. So this is the other side. So we dock these two together, transfer the crew over. So now this thing we actually want to send back. So this guy's going to point retrograde. And disconnected, so it's just this top part, and we have a bunch of stuff on there. So this one, we now want to also burn retrograde. We'll go in a slightly different spot than where that one's lined up, because we don't want to run into each other. So re-entry in 10 minutes. We're going to aim just so that we're going to go into the water somewhere in here. Okay, that should be good. It'll slow down also because of the... so we're going to point prograde. And then as we go, I want to ditch the engines. Didn't quite ditch the engines. Okay, there we go. Goodbye! Alright, now we want to point retrograde. And head in. So we should be able to speed up time to re-entry. And then we're going to re-enter with these guys. I should be able to speed up time through some of this re-entry, just to make it take a little bit less time, so we can try and get everybody back and then be able to run some more stuff. These guys successfully docked these two ships together. Good job, team. I'm assuming that there's no crew report that's handy from here, right? Yeah, okay. So we're gonna re-entry. We have our heat shield. Should be fine. Should be no problems. How far away are we from the other stuff? I don't know where it is. Somewhere there's the rest of the ship. I don't see it, so that's good. Oh, it's over there. Bye. So we're heading in with these guys. We'll cover these, and then we'll go back up to, I think it was Jebediah and team, or up top. I think they're actually orbiting Earth, or Kerbin still. I think that we had moved them from the Mun over to Kerbin already. So I might possibly fast forward, because they still have some science they could get. So we might do that just to get it, just to use it, or whatever. In case we want to, in case there's like some important docking mechanism that we don't have quite yet. So we'll see. Let's go ahead and deploy patience. Almost forgot. My dog just got her rabies and dog license again. The previous ones she had, they were skunked. She goes skunked, and so then she didn't have them. So all she had was just like her name and my phone number. And now she has the other tags like she's supposed to have, and so she's a lot more jingly. She makes a lot more noise. Okay, so that's good. We can actually go ahead and fast forward again. And I'll do a bunch of fast forward. And then I'll slow down a little bit. I'm guessing the mod will kick in, but I don't want to risk it exactly. So we'll try and speed this up a little bit. And then we'll go back. All right, do that. Let me close one thing. Okay. Successfully docked and returned. I'm assuming that there's nothing interesting here. Oh, there is. Interesting. Keep it. EVA. EVA report. Nothing. Okay. What about service sample? Okay, whatever. Keep it. Board. Yeah. Welcome back. Cover the vessel. So these guys came back. They brought 2.2 science. Good job. All right, next. We want to recover. So I'm assuming Docking Who 4 has already died in the atmosphere, so that's good. Next we want to do, I'm assuming, Eureka, right. I don't know why it says it's a robot ship, but okay. Well, I guess both the scientists are in here. Okay, so these guys have some science that they're working on. We could actually get some more science. So let's, for the purposes of this, let's try and get a little bit more science before we transmit that, and then we bring everything back. Might as well squeeze a little bit out while we have a chance. But I don't want to wait too long because it's boring. But this was our get a bunch of science to be able to get all the different like solar panels and different parts we want. So we'll get sub-science, and then we'll move on from there. Can I go actually one step? Well, I can go one step further. Good. And it gets progressively slower as it goes. But we started out with a lot of science, and this was only even with one of these Eureka things. I mean, this was, I think, Mon orbit, and then plus the checking out how the plants work and stuff around over the Mon. So, and I have a lot more experiments now. So the next ship I send up, I'll be able to get, a lot of experiments and a lot of crazy interesting things. So we might call it good. We still have more we could get, but let's call it good. We're going to transmit this science. And then we're going to work on bringing this guy home. Like, I could get more science here, but we're going to get so much science anyway that it's not all that important. I mean, we won't get, science right now, I don't think. Although I think actually I do have 100 science and something here, if I'm not mistaken. Something I had was worth quite a bit of science, just as is, without even processing it in space. Okay, transmitted. Done. Great. Now I want you guys to get up top. Transfer crew. Into there. I think that's the main part of the ship. Transfer crew. Main part of the ship. Awesome. And this is this is the landing area. Okay. So they're all in here. In terms of land, so this whole tank here is landing on this one. Okay. Oh, this whole thing is landing. Okay. So we'll see how that works. I think I have enough parachutes, and I think it'll work. Okay. So now we don't have a whole lot of. Oh, we actually are orbiting the Mon. Okay. So we have some fuel, not a huge amount. So let's plan this maneuver. I think what we want to do is on the closest side, we add a maneuver. That will get us into an orbit, and so I'm trying to watch the burn time there. So, I mean, I could adjust the maneuver after the fact, but let's... It's a 44. So we'll see if that's too costly of a move, but... Oh, okay, too much. Alright, that's too much. Okay, that's good enough, and we can adjust it. If we are running too low on fuel, I might kill the maneuver, and then we'll attempt to adjust it. So let's turn on SAS, point to the maneuver node. I don't know exactly... I think this is a wimpier engine, so that much fuel should be enough to do this maneuver. We'll see. But we'll point to the maneuver node, and then we'll work on getting back with all of our people. Nobody's died yet. Very accomplished. Okay. This thing landing like on a hill might be tough. We do have landing legs we can put out to like help issues with rolling and stuff, but all right. So now we want to get to the maneuver. So at 22 seconds, we'll do the burn. In theory, also, that's when these things will disappear. I think that they disappear when it's time to go, also. Coming home. It's 22. Boop, boop, and go. Yeah, there's the countdown. Okay, cool. Yeah, this should be. We should have plenty of fuel. Okay. Cool. All right. Burning, burning, burning. So let's warp to here. So we're leaving the Mun. Goodbye, Mun. We have plenty of food. We actually had quite a bit of food left over. This one has... Oh, I should make sure that I have all my guys in the right spot. Where's everybody? I guess maybe I had one... I'll get rid of that. Before I dump everybody, let's make sure that... So if I do transfer crew, okay, this has all three in there. Okay, good. All right, good. So now what we want to do is we want to point retrograde because we want to still fix that up a little bit. We're going to point retrograde, get to here, and then we're going to we still want to point retrograde. Okay, we're basically pointing retrograde. So we want to adjust this to be like 22 or 20, 25 or so, maybe 20 something. Okay, that's good. Now we're going to warp to be closer. And then we can warp a little bit closer. And then I think we want to burn, I forget which thing it is, but we burn retrograde, I think? Oh no, we crashed. The likelihood is pretty low. Okay, so we want to point. So we have re-entry in a little bit. So that indicator actually helps me quite a bit. Because what I can do then is know, because I want to get pretty close when I do this other burn. When I point retrograde, I think it's retrograde, and then burn. So that'll decrease this other part, because I want that to be lower, if I can. So we have quite a bit there. We're going to point retrograde. Eventually. Having RCS really helps out this whole maneuvering part. But this isn't too bad. Okay, so pointing retrograde. And I think if I burn a little bit, this one will decrease a little bit, but then this one should decrease faster. Because we want that, we don't want to have to do a bunch of loops. That'll take a long time. So if we burn, that one's decreasing, but that one's decreasing faster. So we could always adjust this one as we get a little closer. Also. But I guess, let me think. But if I adjust that one again, there's probably a different way I should burn when I'm doing this, so that it doesn't make this one be so low. We're figuring it out as we go, right? So we'll just do 20. I don't know. I'm not sure about this particular move to make it so that I yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll just fly in. Okay, so then we're going to make sure that this is good still. Okay, it's good. We're going to point. I think what we have is fine. So we're gonna get rid of all that stuff. Right, it's here. So we have everything's connected. So we're good. Okay, it did disconnect. Good. And now we can get rid of this. We want to wait till that clears a little bit. And then we're going to point retrograde. And we're going to re-enter. So there's the heat shield here. But there's a lot of stuff going on here. So we'll see. Don't hit. So we'll see how that all works out. We'll see. I feel like I've tested this before with re-entry, so it should be fine. Possibly some of the batteries burnt up during re-entry before. But it might take a while to do a couple loops. I think we can probably speed up to this, and that should be okay. There's the rest of it, so that's missing us. Good. Oh, it's really bright. So these are the landing legs that are heating up, which we don't really need. I'm not sure what that is. It's heating up. Oh, good. And this is coming in pretty fast, so yeah, we won't do a loop. We're good. I can. Let's see what's going on. The thing's really wanting to blow up, whatever it is. Okay, coming in for landing. Are we over water? Probably not. Okay, so we'll see how the roll factor goes. All right, cruising, cruising, cruising. Maybe we'll get some science from wherever this is, if we don't blow up. Okay, we can deploy our parachutes. Let's go regular speed. Deploy our parachutes. We have quite a few in this guy. And just for fun, let's extend. Can we extend all these together? Will they go together? Yeah, they do. Okay. So those don't quite reach all the way. So they're somewhat useful. But yeah. It's mainly to help against rolling, is the idea. We'll see if this guy stays up. Please don't die. So where's our shadow? Okay, there's our shadow. I get so nervous when the parachute's okay, there we go, slowing down. Okay. So far so good. Let's speed up until we get closer to our shadow. And in theory, the mod will slow us down, but I don't want to risk it with people again. We could test that some other time. Yeah, it seemed like it was pretty fast. Okay. So, no more shadow, so we'll go regular time. Although, I guess we are still fairly high up in the air. But my shadow disappeared. Oh no, it's back now. Okay. Alright, so how flat is this? There's a little bit of a slope, but not too bad. We'll see. I think the heat shield is also curved, so I'm sure that that doesn't help me with staying upright. We lost a leg, but that's okay. We're fine. All right. So do we? Can we do a crew report here? No, that's the wrong button. Crew report. Yes, desert. Yes, please. EVA. Yeah. EVA, take a surface sample. EVA report. And what other things can we do here? So I think inside this guy we have some of our other experiments hiding out. We're not. Oh, okay. We have to board, I guess, because we weren't actually controlling the ship at that point. Yeah, the legs are a little short. So let's open up this. Let's review the data. So this one currently has nothing, basically. So we don't need to keep that. So let's reset the experiment. Let's observe. This is a new place. Keep it. We have that goo, and then is the other one. I think the other one is not used yet, so we'll just use that one. Observe the goo in the desert. Awesome. And we have a barometer. One of them is probably already used. The other one is not. Log pressure data. Thank you. And then I'm assuming we have a thermometer someplace. Let me think. A long time ago when I made this thing. Oh, it's on the outside, right? Right here. Log temperature. It's very warm in the desert. I think that's everything. I mean, technically we could also do, now that we're in the desert, we could do the science on this. I guess we could do that. That might be worth it. That might be interesting. So let's transfer crew. Let's ponder that. Let's see how long it'll take. So transfer crew. No, I want to transfer crew of scientists into here. We want some Eurekas. We want to transfer crew scientist into here. Now we need to start research. And we need to generate Eurekas. Review. Oh, this thing already has 100 science in it, so we're not gonna. We want to keep that, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so this was the other thing we did. It was 100 science for observing plants over the Mun. I'm sure that's gonna be better than the desert. So let's recover the vessel. So this guy gave us a bunch of science. We have a lot of science. Awesome. Okay. We still have some time. Good. Let's hop into who uses what? Those legs were flammable. Oh yeah, because they blew up, right? Yeah. What are you gonna do? Nobody's perfect. Okay. So let's look at some of the stuff we have. We do want to have people that fly up there, so let's start with that. And then we're gonna want to attach some stuff. So let's look at some of our toys that we have. Nothing bad will ever will happen. Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. So there's storage things. So what I'm trying to find out is in terms of docking. So I have a small docking port, and then also some thrusters. Let's take a look actually at our research. Yes, definitely a big success. I want more docking options. So what I'm going to try and do, so this gave us some docking ports. What I'm looking for is So this is a flexible docking port. I'm trying to find one that has like a bunch of different connectors and stuff. An airlock. Finally, after years of constant nagging about finding an exit, Kerbal... Okay, so that's when you're doing the piping, I think. What's this? Inline clampotron. Inline clampotron was an accidental invention created after an engineer incorrectly interpreted the shieldotron's blueprints. Still, the rest of the team very much liked the idea of a sideways pointing docking port with its own aerodynamic shell. So he designed this design. Okay, so this one is a docking port on the side, I guess. It's cool. Alright, so I think I need this. I'm short on science, of course, to do this. So maybe I won't worry about that right now. Maybe the first ship we send up will not... Like, what I want is the main body to be like, you know, a big, huge hub. But I guess I can still expand off of whatever I have, so... I can go back a row. It's not quite... Yeah, so this is the next thing I'm going to get, is more docking ports and stuff. So let's design a ship. We need to get some stuff up there first. So these are a bunch of different like science things. And I guess the one thing we're gonna need is a bunch of power when we're up there. Because a lot of our different stuff requires... What on earth is this? Is this huge? Head out. Well, thank you, Puka, for stopping. Okay, so this is pretty big. So what is this? Connecting... Oh, I see. Yeah, so then also my mod tells me the connected living spaces is if people can pass through it. So this device bombards your scientific results with something or other, producing a high detailed analysis suitable for transmission. After analysis, you can transmit the data back home for 90% value relative to returning it and recovering. Okay. Unlearned. Yeah, I don't have that command. This is the other one we had that we've already played around with a little bit. And then this one is more scientific stuff we can do. So different experiments we can do. What is this? This module provides a state-of-the-art compact particle accelerator useful for generating... So this one, I think, needs whatever those things are. This one generates them. So I think we need this also up there if we're going to have this. I guess. Interesting. Okay. What do these guys need? So this one also requires this. So this thing generates... What should we call this thing? Quarks, I guess. Welcome. Welcome, John. Welcome back. Oh, you're already here before. Right, okay. So this one generates quarks. And then this uses them. This uses them. Also requires Eurekas. This one, you can store science in it. This one you can process general stuff. And then this one is the thing we already had before. This generates Eurekas. This one generates quarks. And I'm assuming it requires a bunch of power. Or something. My dog's gonna start barking in a second. So earphone, headphone users, just be warned. Half-life, 20 seconds. So this thing requires we already knew that. Okay, sorry. This thing generates those units. It requires a bunch of power, so 90 charge. Okay, and then as a comparison, if we look at our big solar panels, this generates 24 per second. So we would need something like 4 of these for each particle accelerator, not to mention the other stuff. So other things are going to also take a bunch of power. So we're going to need a bunch of power. This is the summary. Now that so I guess we can send up another experiment with some of these other things that are going on, and we could plan on keeping that one up there and have things dock to it. It's kind of my plan. So long term, I'm going to have all these things connected up there, and I guess eventually this thing might work its way down. So what we'll do is we'll connect the lab directly to it. We'll probably have to rotate this guy, if I had to guess. So we want to rotate, click, spin it. We want to snap to. So we might test this first, just to make sure that that's in the right spot. So this is the transition between these two things, although we do still need to add in ladders. No, we don't, because these are connected, so they can just go through them. And then the idea is that now they're at this stage, and I'll be able to put a heat shield on here. So this may re-enter at some point. So we're going to keep this particular pod, just in case we don't ever dock with this thing again. This particular pod will be returnable, basically. So parachutes. Let's go 3. Attach them on here. So the idea is this thing could come back if it needs to. Then we're going to have a docking port on the top of this. So this thing can connect up with other ships eventually. I just want one. And if you would just snap on, that would be great. If you just put yourself on top. This is a docking port, right? Why would the docking port just like snap? Confused. Oh wait. There it goes. That was weird. Okay. So now we have a docking port up top, which connects into this thing. And then from here, this ladder can connect onto the other stuff. What I want to know, because there's ladders on both sides, but there won't necessarily be ladders on both sides for other stuff, I think. Let's look at some of our other next parts of the project. So the next thing we'll add on, we'll do some more science buildings. Let's add, so this is passable, so we can pass through that. This is also passable, so you can pass through. Oh, you can pass through these experiments too. Okay. And they're actually a little smaller. So we might put some of those inside of compartments. So what we'll want to do is we'll want to test some of these are passable, but what I don't know is like a service bay. Somewhere. Payloads. Somewhere in here there's service bays. Maybe it's higher up. It is coming up real quick. One of these things. Oh, right here. Okay, service bay. Big guy. So this is not passable. So actually, that's not going to help my experiment. What I want to see is if I now pop on something else that has a door. So that's a place where they can hide out. We don't need that, I don't think. Science. So this guy. So we're attach this on there. And this one, we'll probably actually have to have a ladder in between the two. But this one doesn't have a ladder on both sides. So we want to make sure that when they exit this thing, they actually exit on that door. And then we want to test this connection. I'm going to guess that it won't connect as is. But I think this is a small enough fall that he won't die testing it out. So what this is going to be the Basket Space Station first part, the science part of it. Maybe science 1. Sure. Okay. So the Basket Space Station, science 1. You know, this is just the first part of it. We're going to do a little test. So what I want to do is put a crew in, just up here. What I want to see is, does he come out of this door, and can he transition this ladder without falling down? So we're going to put, we have a lot of people that decided to join us. We want to clear. Let's go ahead and bring, I mean, I don't think anybody's going to die, but just in case, we're going to just put in one person that isn't orange, and launch. I think that will be a short enough fall that he wouldn't get injured. So now you are here. I would like you to transfer crew. So here he can transfer here. He cannot transfer here, I believe. Yeah, because it's not connected. Okay, so we transfer here. Okay, and then we want to EVA. He comes out of the proper door, so I did that properly. Now will he transition between these two ladders? Seems like it, actually. Interesting. So if we come in here, I'll do it again. So you come in here and you can board. And now he's in this part of it. This is the part that would never come back if the ship actually came back. And I can attach a whole bunch of stuff onto it. Okay, good. Now what I want to do is EVA again. And make sure you can get back up. So was it a fluke that you're able to use those ladders? That seems like it works. Okay. Alright, good. Board? Okay. So those are the people that are the Kerbals. The Kerbals. Kerbals? Kerbals. I'm not sure. The Kerbals are Kerbals? I'm not sure. Okay, so this is the thing where they can produce Eurekas. We don't necessarily want to have everything attached to it, but we do want to have some of it attached. Okay, so there's those things, and then we're going to need to have an accelerator. And so we can even bring, I mean, if this thing is too large of a ship, we can send up a couple and then attach them together. We don't have the sideways docking stuff yet, so we'd have to figure that out. But so this is our particle accelerator, so that generates the quarks, and this is also passable. So if you see the connected living spaces, that mod, you can't put crew in it, but you can travel through it. Okay, and let's bring this higher up. Okay, and then we also want to attach this thing, which uses quarks. For what purpose again? This works in experiments somehow. Okay. So that exists. And then we need to have experiments. So these guys, they're smaller, but we want to have them all in there. That's for storing stuff. Let's see. Collectible data. This new shelf contains laboratories in a container format. When something happens in a 0G or even underwater, you can make it an experiment. So this one might actually be also experiments. So this is collectible data, yes. So this one, if we could figure out the container thing. I had problems last time when I was trying to use it. Let's see. Where are they? So I had this thing. I was trying to use these. So if I attach this on there, can we put in 4 of these things? Will it actually function? Where'd they go? Right here. So we can put 1 in. It goes that way. I think I can rotate it though. So then we want to rotate you this way. And also snap. So that worked okay. And then I think on the other side is when I couldn't figure it out. So then, yeah, so he doesn't want to snap on this side. So what was the other thing I tried to do? When I'm putting them on there, if I say make them 2, yeah, it still only puts in 1. So I don't know how with these things I actually put them on the other side. So that part's a little baffling to me. But let's there's another version of that where there was. No, that's not what I want. So I don't know. I don't know how to put them on both sides. But we can do service bays. So what I'm thinking is, because these are larger, so we can put some of our experiments inside of these. So let's go to our science. Again, this is gonna, I mean, it's a very long ship, so we'll see how this takes off. But we can put in our plant thing and this other guy. Oop. Messed it up. This guy. You can do it. There we go. Oh, I almost had it. Okay. And then you. So these are different experiments that require, these ones require the quarks, and then this one requires just eurekas. And then we can, there's enough space inside of this so we can store some of our other stuff. So our regular experiments. I'm the only one watching except for mods, editors, and BasketMC. Like, welcome. Alright, let's do times 2. And we'll put this guy right here. And thermometer on the side. Do times 2. Good. And we'll throw in our barometer. Can't tell exactly where it is, but... Well, I guess we could put it on the next one down, just so it's easier to line up. And then we do have a Science Junior that we can put in there, so maybe we'll add another one of these. Again, very large. But we'll see how well it works. So, Science Junior. Go ahead and pop in there. There we go. BB? Alright, cool. Alright, so that's in there. This thing is a big... We'll come back to that one. That'll be later on. Once we have more docking port options, then that'll work better. Right now, we can only attach like docking ports in the top or bottom of a ship. So it kind of limits our options. But in theory, we could do some science with this thing if it actually gets up into space. And then with that docking port on top, we can attach that onto a thing. So I guess what we should also do is we want some RCS tanks. So these are not traversable. So we might throw these tanks on the bottom here. Bigger one. There we go. So throw in a couple RCS tanks and also life support in this middle thing here. And we're also going to need solar panels. So life support, cans. Let's go one more. I don't know how long to be up there. And then we'll need some engines on this top part just to maneuver to return if we're going to try and return. So we're going to add some of the big fuel tanks on the bottom here. I guess we can do this. Is that enough? Yeah. Maybe. We'll try this. And then an engine. We don't need a big one. This is just for maneuvering a little bit in space. So we can go with this guy. Okay. So this is the main middle part of our thing. Do we have any science we're forgetting? Oh, one thing I do want to have, just in case, is I want to have a our robot. So if we just throw, well, yeah, okay. I guess what we'll do is we'll throw on another storage thing. Once I find it. So storage thing, boop. You are going to hold on to our robot to return, plus batteries. I mean, I have more batteries in here anyway, but we can put batteries inside of this thing. And if we can figure out the compartments thing, we can do all kinds of cool stuff. But this one's going to be just controlling. So I think we could fit 3 in this guy, if I recall. Yeah. So this is our return robot. If we want this thing to fly around without any people around, that's our option for that. I guess we can also then throw on antennas. So there's a top one that we can have there. This one I think also works well. Trying to see direct. I don't know what these numbers mean, but let's bandwidth. Okay, so they look like they're about the same. Let's attach these onto the side of the robot canister. So we have 2 of them, one on the other side. All right, attach this on. So this middle thing, the idea is this can sit up in space. We have a bunch of RCS tanks, but no RCS thrusters. So let's do that. There we go, RCS. So attach some of these guys onto the various parts of the ship. So onto the RCS tanks seems appropriate. And then perhaps up this way on all of this. We can attach some more. We do have those right there, so we don't want to block the ladder. So let's go with that. And then perhaps, maybe this is overkill, but let's put some here as well on our particle accelerator in space. This isn't gonna fall over, isn't it? Oh, well. Okay. So what am I forgetting? Probably need some engines to go up, but I think that in terms of the science stuff, in terms of the middle part that we're gonna try and get into space, I think this is good. We have antennas. All right, so now let's try and get. We're out of space. We're out of time. But this is the start of the first thing we want to get up into space. And it's going to do a bunch of science. It's going to do a bunch of different research. And once it gets some research, we're going to go back. It looks cool with all the things. Yeah. So because they're smaller, I wanted to keep the rocket sort of more stable. So I don't have as many and plus I also wanted to make the docking work. So I have less stuff like at the top there. So I have these little doors and you can store stuff in there. So that'll be it for today's stream, unfortunately. All done for today. But next time we play this one, we will try and build enough rockets in the outside of this thing to get up into space. If not, we can break it up into 2 or more parts that are set up to be able to dock to each other. So it'd have to be a rocket that would go up into space, have docking ports on either side, and then you could attach them up in space, is the idea. Because this might be too tall. So, I mean, we'll have to have some, large enough rockets on the sides to make this thing not just, tip over and break in as it's going up. So I think it'll probably just break. We'll see. I can also attach some of this stuff to the outside of this, and that might work. I don't know. Oh, we'll see. We'll see you next time. Thank you everybody for watching. There's no stream tomorrow. There's also no stream this weekend.